This E3 update is presented by State Farm.
All right, day one of E3 show floor being open has pretty much come to a close. We're finally all together. Max, Tara, alive-ish. Alive-ish?
Yeah,
Right.
I'm getting there.
So I was kind of welded to this table, but you guys actually got to walk around. Tara, I mean, you went over to Microsoft. How was the mood there?
Well, I went to a big behind closed door session, so it was a little bit more of a curated audience. There were a lot of people there who just sort of wanted to see these games that we haven't really heard much about. We've just seen glimpses of. I was able to check out Quantum Break, which is kind of a question mark, you know, like, what is this game?
Yeah, I did not understand what I was looking at the press conference. We were supposed to have them to our stage. Something happened in scheduling. We don't. Can you explain this game to me?
Yes,
please?
So it's very interesting. Remedy's trying a couple new things here. First of all, they have the game and then they have a live action TV show that's integrated with the game, but the TV show does not air on television. It comes shipped with the game.
Huh.
That's where I bring in the second interesting thing that they're doing, which is that instead of getting actors to create, well, they do have actors doing live action scenes, but for a lot of the stuff, because it is a very sort of branching and personalized game, like you choose a lot of what happens in the storyline, they actually created digital doubles of actors so that they could create any kind of facial expression, any kind of movement that they wanted without having to get the actor to actually do it. I feel like that's going to be the future of video games, because it's like, why pay an actor to do something?
So is it just kind of pure narrative? Is there actual traditional gameplay in this?
What the hell is the game about, Tara?
So the game is it's like a time travel mystery. That's how they described it to us, and they sort of purported it as like, we're Remedy. We're good at we're really good at two things: interactive storytelling from Alan Wake and cinematic gunplay from Max Payne. And so Quantum Break is like a combination of both of those.
Okay, but there is gunplay.
There is gunplay. We didn't see a single second of that in our preview. They only showed us the time manipulation, because your character can manipulate time, and sort of, it's very, very open-ended. It's not like there's a correct solution for doing something. It's like you can do, it sounds like a ton of different things, and everything that you do will affect the story in a very real way.
So it's like, it looks like Touch of Heavy Rain, but then there's actual traditional game, even though they didn't. This must have been one hell of a demo.
Honestly, I'm honestly just as confused as when I got in there. One interesting thing that they did say is that it seems to be episodic. So that Quantum Break, what they're releasing as Quantum Break now, is actually going to be Quantum Break Season 1.
Okay, this sounds like a fairly good idea, A, because Remedy is notoriously slow at getting games out, as Alan Wake definitely demonstrated. But this seems to be, a lot of the stuff they were seeing out of Microsoft, they're doing something very non-traditional. That's already happening with Killer Instinct. We'll get to RYSE in a moment. That seems like it's a normal, more traditional game. You were over at Sony. Anything stand out to you there? Were you seeing episodic games where you are breaking time and not seeing the shooting?
Not so much. I mean, I got to see a demo of Infamous, which you can destroy a lot of things in that game. It is a very destructible game. It is the ultimate teenager simulator. You got your denim vest.
Is it different than Infamous 1 and 2, or?
From what I could gather, I mean, it's a step forward. It's definitely also a good place to get on board if you weren't into Infamous previously. It's a new character. Takes place 7 years after the previous games. I mean, it's staying in the same universe, but it's a totally new setting. And they're like, hey, you want to destroy Seattle? Young man in the knit cap and the torn up jeans? Well, guess what? Now you can. So
it's kind of using a more powerful console to deliver on the promises that couldn't really be accomplished in the original Infamous. It was a game that I absolutely loved, but yeah, the level of destruction could not be handled.
I don't remember being this impressed with the previous Infamous game.
So. All right, well, that's a good way of putting it. One of the demos, actually the one that I really enjoy having right here, was talking to Joe Staten from Bungie about Destiny. That, you know, when they did the demo last night at the Sony press conference, there was that small part of me where it's like, okay, this is really pretty, and I know Bungie knows how to make a shooter, but it was like, Borderlands? Maybe a little bit. And once again, I'm having to take him at his word, but I've known him long enough, and it's Bungie, so I'm going to give them some benefit of the doubt. This really is like MMO, easy to play with friends. You can go solo, and that it's just some.
I'm so mad you got to see that
massive world.
I really want that game.
I know,
couldn't get into it. I saw Skylanders just fine, but I couldn't get into the Destiny screening.
we will make that happen. But yeah, I think that I can see why someone might be putting hundreds of millions of dollars into the development of this game, because this might actually really find an audience. Going back to Microsoft, any other of the games you saw at the press conference that you got a better understanding of?
I saw Dead Rising 3, I saw Forza, I saw RYSE. None of them really impressed me all that much. Dead Rising 3 seems to be sort of taking a step back in terms of craziness, which I feel like is one of the things that really set it apart from the other zombie franchises.
There was that kind of wackiness. I mean, I always felt that Dead Rising needed to kind of handle how onerous that that schedule and that 24-hour period was. But
are definitely trying to make it more accessible to a lot of people, and how that fares for the hardcore Dead Rising audience, I have no idea.
I mean, was it silly at all?
It still has some sense of humor. It seems like a lot of that humor is now customizable, so you can like wear crazy outfits if you want, but the default is going to be relatively normal.
Well, they never show off the crazy stuff in games like that.
They don't, which I feel like they should.
I mean, you can customize your humor.
Yeah. It's a very brown game, I will say that much.
Oh, really?
I also saw RYSE, which is something that I was sort of expecting to hate. I didn't come out of the demo loving it, but I did come out with a better understanding.
It's more of an action game. They came here to show it. It's like, okay, the stuff that I read, and I think you did too, was a quick time event. No. There is hack and slash. There's some more like finishers, something that you sort of add into the combat.
I was going in fully expecting this to be like a crazy Kinect title, and it seems like the Kinect has really been toned down. A lot of it is just voice control now. There are some small gestures in there, but for the most part, it is a very bare bones combat game, and it's going to be for people who like really cinematic action games, I think, like maybe God of War fans or something.
Oh, really?
Like
Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
I couldn't get that at all. I mean,
I thought it was skirts. I meant men in like the leather. I don't know what those things are called.
Do you wish there was a playable body wash commercial for pros like you? Get
I gotta
RYSE.
say, of all the things that I saw today, one of the coolest things was an indie title, Rain, at the PlayStation booth.
That is so cool.
It's really interesting. I definitely got an Unfinished Swan vibe from it. It seems like a very French game.
A touch of eco, because you all following a girl around in the rain and you've gone invisible.
Yeah, so the way, I mean, it's a pretty simple mechanic. Basically, you play as a little ghost child in the rain, and there are also like ghost creatures that try to attack you, and the only reason they can see you is because the rain is coming down and it's sort of highlighting your silhouette.
So when you're under an awning, you can't be seen.
So it basically transforms the whole thing into like a puzzle platformer game where you have to sort of hide from the creatures.
Very, very evocative. Like the mood is there.
Oh, and the Claire de Lune.
Well, speaking of funky ghosts, I got to look a little bit of Beyond Two Souls, which was conveniently right next to Rain. I didn't get it was very loud. I didn't get to hear a lot of the dialogue. I didn't get to play it myself. But just looking at that game, it is incredible that that's not a next-gen title. That is a beautiful game.
I mean, we already saw some of that from Heavy Rain.
Also, Ellen Page is going around breaking people's necks and shooting guns off and stuff. It's crazy. What is going on?
Because last year it was like, hey, I got a ghost and I'm having an adventure. And now it's like, I'm a secret agent in Somalia and I'm messing some people up. It's really strange. That's all I can say. Now, you guys also got to go to Nintendo this morning.
Yes.
After the Nintendo Direct. What was that like?
I wish I didn't wake up at 5:30 in the morning to watch the Nintendo Direct.
I will say, you know what? Of all the fans here, Nintendo fans are by far the best. They are the most enthusiastic about everything. They had some really good announcements there. Obviously, Super Smash Bros. 4, which a ton of people are excited about. They did announce a new fighter for that, which is the Wii Fit Trainer lady.
Good, because that's what I need to see.
Yes, it was actually kind of awesome.
I'm so happy they're getting a little bit weird. It's so nice to see weirdness in games.
Weird or desperate, either
way. When are these games coming out? We know we're getting Pikmin 3 in August. That's kind of a done deal. But you get any sense? I mean, that's where the issue is with Nintendo right now. So we know this game's in development.
No details on release dates for any of them.
And we saw there is the new Mario game from the Galaxy team, but it sounds like it's kind of. It's more of a play off of the 3DS game, which was a wonderful, wonderful game.
Yeah, I mean, that's really fun. Honestly, it's very similar to the Galaxy series, I would say. Yeah, there's a new cat suit. So
you can be a cat.
Be a cat.
Adam,
and
you can be a cat.
Climb up walls and scratch people, which is really cute.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, it's cute. It's cute.
And then was the Wind Waker remake presented there?
That was there. I didn't get a chance to play with that.
We didn't see that, but they did talk about it a little bit. They said that it's not just a graphical upgrade. There are some control scheme changes. You'll also be able to ride your Wind Waker faster. So
for people with busy schedules.
Just
got the silly pad that you're holding it with.
Nintendo's event is a little bit like a kid's birthday party, and everybody wants to play Pin the Tail on the Donkey, but not everybody can play Pin the Tail on the Donkey because there's kind of a line. I got to play Yoshi's Island.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a big fan of that game, and going into that, you know, a lot of people are kind of scared off by the fact that it doesn't look like the old cutesy cutout.
Right,
you know?
right.
And, you know, that's what set it apart back in the day, and this new one, I think they did it for the sake of the 3D, which I will say does look very pretty, and there still is a certain hand-drawn element to it. Gameplay-wise, it's very familiar.
Yeah.
Feels a little bit different. Doesn't feel quite as snappy as I used to, and I've replayed that game pretty recently. The big addition, I love that literally the big addition is that there are now big eggs. So you can eat like a giant Shy Guy and then crap out a giant egg, which will then take out parts of the environment. But
That's phenomenal. I mean, yes, I think that's good for the weirdness. I think my takeaway, and I only have a cursory understanding of what was sort of announced and what's going to be made available. A lot of people think they're playing it too safe. I do not fault Nintendo for that in the least. But the games that seem to have been shown here, most of them should already be available on the Wii U. This is the very thing that this lack of software for this system. So yeah, I'm happy to play all of these games, but the idea that they can't even confirm when we're going to be playing them is what leaves me still with this sense of panic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
something is just wrong.
if it survives until 2014, I'm sure the Wii U will do just great once it has a Mario Kart and a Super Smash Brothers and a new proper Mario game and a new Zelda game. You know.
Yeah.
All right, this is we're gonna do a quick, fast segment. We're gonna be doing this all week long. This is our lightning round, presented by State Farm. Each of us are going to identify something that is demonstrating that we are getting to a better state in video games. Tara, I'll start with you. What did you see today?
South Park: The Stick of Truth.
It's funny.
Explosive farts and incessant swearing.
Yeah.
What is better than that?
Yeah.
I just want to be myself in a video game, you guys.
There is
Just
something
let me
very
be
liberating
myself.
about that South Park game. Max, what do you got?
I'm glad that there are more HD remakes of games that I loved when I was in 4th grade.
Now, do you think you're going to love them as much as you remember you did
Shut
in
up.
4th grade?
I don't care.
I'm just saying. I think the thing that I'm seeing is what this idea of cloud and having games that are, you're going to buy it in one way and it's going to start to evolve. I saw this a lot in the racing games that we were talking about today. There's the asynchronous, there's the way that you're finding your friends. It's both in the Crew, you see it a little bit in Forza. I'm getting a better idea of what these new consoles are supposed to be doing. So that is sort of my takedown, but I think we're going to learn about many other things tomorrow, because tomorrow there is a lot of content that is going to be going up on the site. It is one of the longest days that the E3 show floor is open, so definitely come back and check out all of this. Easiest way to do it, subscribe, youtube.com/rev3games, and if you haven't seen everything that we have up there right now, go check it out. Max and Tara are on the floor. I was sitting at this table talking about a lot. All right, thank you so much. Day one is over. See you tomorrow.